This is worksheet 10 of the Ionic Compounds packet, and this is where we finally get to draw some pictures to represent the bonds or the connections that hold the positive metal and the negative nonmetal together. Okay, so like I said, reminder, ionic bonds form between positive ions, those are the metals, and negative ions, those are the nonmetals. And in this type of a bond, this type of a connection, the electrons are not being shared between the positive and the negative ions, the metal and the nonmetal, but instead the anion, the nonmetal, is going to be gaining electrons or stealing them to fill their shell, and the cation is going to be losing electrons or giving them away, right, to try to get rid of that partially full outer shell. So let's look at an example and then you'll be able to do the rest. This first example compound, sodium nitride, we have 3 sodiums and we have 1 nitrogen. That's what the formula tells us. So we're going to draw a Lewis dot diagram of sodium. Right? Sodium is in the first family, so it's got just 1 valence electron. But we actually have 3 sodiums, right? That's what our formula tells us. So let's draw 3 sodiums here. Okay. And we have 1 nitrogen. So let's draw nitrogen. Nitrogen is in the 5th family of the periodic table. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 valence electrons. Right? Okay. Now, if we look at sodium, sodium is not happy having 1 electron in its outermost shell. And it's certainly going to take way too much energy to try to steal 7 more electrons to fill that shell. So it's looking to give away these electrons to anybody who will take them. Nitrogen, on the other hand, already has 5 electrons. It's not happy, it wants to have 8, but that's reasonably close, right? It's 4 or more. So it can go ahead and try to steal 3 more electrons from anybody who it can get them from to fill its outermost shell. Well, we're starting to see that it's not a coincidence that 3 sodiums would then bond with 1 nitrogen, because this sodium can donate an electron, and this sodium can donate an electron, and this sodium can donate an electron. Okay, now I'm going to try to be a good teacher and do this in colors so you can see. So this sodium's electron just went over here, right? That was this electron. And this electron here just went over here. And this electron here just went over here. And so now what we have, I switch my colors, we've got sodium, right, that has a +1 charge because it gave away a negative electron. Okay, now there wasn't just 1 sodium that did that, right? We're going to put a little 3 down here to indicate that there were 3 sodiums that each gave away electrons. And we have nitrogen that now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a total of 8 electrons. Okay, well, if it gained 3 electrons, these little red ones, right, from the sodiums, that means it's got now, didn't quite fit in the box, sorry, a -3 charge. It's got 3 extra negatively charged things, right? And there's only 1 nitrogen, so we could put a little 1 down here, but just like usual, we don't have to put the 1. So it's fine to not have it there. Okay, and so that's our sort of final picture of this bond. Now, what holds these things together, these sodiums and these nitrogens? We'll look at. We've got a positively charged thing with the sodium. We've got a negatively charged thing with the nitrogen. We know opposites attract, right? So it's that attraction or that pull between the positive and the negative that now sodium and nitrogen are sort of stuck next to each other because they're attracted to each other like opposite ends of a magnet would be. Okay, so that's our picture of the bonds between sodium and nitrogen and sodium nitride. Okay, one little mistake that people tend to make, so I will do this in red, okay, A lot of times people will make the mistake that instead of putting a +1 charge here, they'll put a +3 charge. Okay, ignore that for now, right? Why would they put a +3 charge? Well, they're probably thinking, oh, look, this sodium is losing an electron, so that's -1, and this sodium's losing an electron, that's another -1. This sodium's losing an electron, okay, so it's lost 3 electrons, here's my +3 charge, right? Well, no, what we're saying is that each sodium takes a +1 charge because each sodium loses 1 electron, and then down here we're accounting for the fact that there are 3 sodiums. So up here is just the charge of each individual sodium. Okay? So go ahead and take a look at the others, and we will continue working on this when you get to class.